Tonight we have a very special speaker. He's the treasurer for the club, but he's very special in that he is our own District 119 director. And we can't wait to hear him talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone. So let me welcome Melvin Garlick, District Director. Take it away.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, and good evening, esteemed members of District Leaders Toastmasters. I want to share with you some of the things I experienced in my journey as a Toastmaster. And as a charter member of this club, District Leader Toastmaster, I recall the time when I joined. I was undergoing a significant transition, stepping outside my comfort zone. And this accounts for one of many periods in my life, transitioning periods in my life. Each time I take on a new challenge, there comes a sense of uneasiness. To get to what lies on the other side of that challenge, I had to step outside my comfort zone. I'd like for you to take a moment to reflect with me. How many of us have experienced a sense of comfort in life that led to complacency, where we felt content and didn't seek growth physically, socially, or intellectually? While it may seem reassuring to remain in this state, it can hinder our progress and development. I am a music fan, so I'm going to use this quote by songwriter and musician Billy Graham, who aptly put it like this: nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Reminding us that to achieve something significant, we must bring something valuable to the table. So we must do something to achieve something. To grow physically, socially, and intellectually, we must challenge ourselves by venturing beyond our comfort zone. Admittedly, especially for me, it's not an easy task. It's tempting to stick to the familiar and accept things as they are. However, to reach our potential and attain our goals, we must strive for something more. So I like to share some periods in my life where I found myself stationary, content, feeling good, but lacking progression. So let's not get stuck. Let me share a few of these moments. And I like to reach back to my young adult years when I was just finding myself and I'm looking for a direction and I couldn't find any positive direction in life. And a road to positive guidance for a path that fostered growth wasn't there. And this was troubling for me, prompting me to realize that remaining stagnant in my current environment would hinder my growth. After very little thought, I decided to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. You're going to learn a little history about me. But this experience and this shift exposed me to fresh challenges that contribute to my physical, emotional, and economic development. It provided me with a new perspective, vision, and direction. As many of you, if you're aware of the U.S. military branches, the Marine Corps is considered the toughest and longest boot camp training of all the services. And when I arrived to Paris Island with 72 fellow recruits, we graduated with 42. And it was a very, very exciting period for me to succeed with all the challenges I was faced with. But I entered the Marine Corps with a 4-year enlistment. So at the end of the 4-year stint, I either had to re-enlist or move on to some new challenges. And so that was a dilemma I had to think about and decide, do I stay where I'm familiar and comfortable, or do I challenge myself to grow beyond? I decided to exit the Marine Corps and enter a career in law enforcement. I started in an entry level as a correction officer with the New York City Department of Correction. I evolved there by becoming a grievance investigator for the inmate population there who was putting small civil cases in against the city. I would mediate them and save the city tons of money by resolving those things and not taking it to court. My career evolved to the investigation division, where I worked for the city under the umbrella of the Inspector General's office. There, I investigated employees' misconduct and brutality cases. At the end of my stint with the city, I retired, but I moved on building a great resume. I took on a position with the largest investigation firm in the country. They were contracted by the federal government, the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, the HR department for the federal government, and I was tasked with doing background clearance investigations for federal employment. So I did backgrounds for members in the scientists at Brookhaven Scientist Lab, also members that took employments in the White House and all the other agencies except for the FBI. I also retain the highest security clearance that the federal government provides. So I was good to go. I can do anything. I can walk anywhere. I can walk into any building. It was an amazing experience. I learned a lot, but I continued to move on and evolve. I wanted to give back. So I left that employment and went to the largest law enforcement firm in the country as a criminal defense investigator, because I want to help the indigent members of society who couldn't afford to defend themselves and help them retain. I was able to diminish some charges that was bestowed on them, or even declare them on their charges. And thinking back to my youth, I knew a lot of members, a lot of friends that went the wrong direction, and sometimes they would need help. And inadvertently, as a young adult, I was falsely accused of a crime and arrested and incarcerated for something I didn't do. So it held true to my heart to be able to service somebody else who may have been caught in that situation. My outcome cost me money, but I was able to clear myself. But someone else may not have had that experience. So it's important to give back. After a long career in the field of criminal justice, I began to sense a prevailing sense of complacency. The work had become mundane and effortless. I could solve cases with my eyes closed. My comfort bred carelessness. And in this industry, that is not a good element to have. So I started craving change, and I wanted something different. This career did grant me stability, esteem, and an impressive resume for future prospects, but I no longer desire to work in this industry. Revisiting a long-standing desire to be an entertainer, I embarked on a journey at the age of 51 as a stand-up comedian. Amazing. Everyone was shocked that I went that direction. This serious, straight-knit guy is going to be a comedian. Well, that contributes to my success there. The path was difficult, but amazingly enjoyable and fun. I encounter the challenges of securing stage time in established comedy clubs because they needed to protect their brand, and they would vet the comedians that come in there to give them stage time for pay. Honing my material through numerous revisions, keeping current, revising was a very tedious challenge. while searching for my unique voice. The audience knows if you're coming from truth. So you have to know who you are and present yourself on stage that way, which was another challenge. There were moments where surrender seemed tempting, but in the face of adversity, I entered a competition, a stand-up competition where I initially secured 4th place, only to triumph it the following year at the March Madness comedy competition. This victory afforded me recognition and enabled performance throughout the tri-state area. Yet again, I hit a stumbling block at not being able to advance to the next level. I wanted to perform nationally, and I couldn't get over that hump. Hearing of Toastmasters, I joined in an effort to improve my stage presence, voice variation, and use of facial expressions. Joining Toastmasters was a significant shift for me, moving from what became a relaxed atmosphere of stand-up comedy to a more structured evaluation of speech delivery where I face feedback. Given my tendency to steer clear of conflict, this was definitely a challenge. Still, I choose to step out of my comfort zone once more for the sake of personal growth. My main goal was to enhance my public speaking skill. But what I didn't initially grasp was that there was a whole leadership dimension as well. I progressed. As I progressed, I realized that Toastmaster offered more than I anticipated, taking me from club officer roles to area director, and even further, all the way to the role of district director. This journey pushed me in ways I hadn't imagined and contributed to both my speaking and leadership ability. It is still challenging, even in this role. But to grow, you must stretch yourself in ways that you are not comfortable. I thank everyone for encouraging me to step up. And I want to share with everyone here, every endeavor presents its own set of challenges. To progress in life, we must rise to these challenges rather than succumb to complacency or become overly attached to our current status. Growth thrives in discomfort. I will repeat that. Growth thrives in discomfort. By doing so, not only do we advance our personal journey, but we also have the potential to touch the lives of those around us, radiating positive influence. So I encourage all of us to embrace challenges and step beyond our comfort zone, just as I did. Let us pursue progress and growth in our personal and professional lives, for that's the path to achieving our aspirations and becoming better versions of ourselves. I thank you for taking this time with me. I will turn the platform back over to Madam Toastmaster.